Hello, guys and gals, me Mutahar, and you know what, man? I'll be real with you, ladies and gentlemen. I think gaming's cooked. Now, if one of the most exciting things for me, one of the most exciting releases has been Oblivion Remaster continues to suggest a release this month. The fact that I'm looking into the fact that Oblivion is about to somehow come out again, and apparently it's supposed to be like shadow dropped, it's exciting. Oblivion's one of my favorite games in the world. Do you know Todd Howard put a crack den into Oblivion, okay? There's an actual crack house in the game. And there are mods for you to produce crack and get the entire world of Cyrodiil on your actual, fun sauce. But, ladies and gentlemen, all that set aside, okay, the fact that I'm excited about a game that's released in 2007, releasing again in the big year 2025, probably doesn't bode all that well, okay? Now, there's fun games. There's a lot of games to look forward to. But when I look at a lot of these big companies, like Microsoft, for instance, and really any company is responsible for it, you recently had, Sony with their dog water PS5 Pro, with their what is the PlayStation Portal stuff. There's a lot of stuff to criticize there. Nintendo did a lot of stuff with the Switch 2 that I wasn't really appreciative of. But I think Microsoft is kind of on par to basically cook gaming to no end. Now, to give you an idea, ladies and gentlemen, about a month ago, I looked at the Microsoft Xbox AI Power Toolkit, okay, where people were looking at how Microsoft was pushing AI gameplay through. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is currently April of 2025, and we're already here, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Copilot gaming experience. Now, you might be like, whoa, Muta, is this Quake 2? You bet your ass it's Quake 2, ladies and gentlemen. So, in fact, it's not only Quake 2, I'm actually going to play a little bit of this because this is running on my actual, web browser. So if you look at the left, you can see AWSD, look is left, right, up, down on the keypad, and you've got jump, crouch, and attack. Now, the thing about all this is, ladies and gentlemen, obviously this is an AI, and I was told that apparently through a lot of the big news organizations, this was supposed to be a playable frame rate. Now, according to the friends over covering this, apparently this demo we're looking at runs at a playable frame rate and is a slightly higher resolution of 640 by 360. Back when YouTube came out, I swear to God that resolution was considered high fucking quality. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We are now playing Quake with an artificial intelligence. Now, one thing I can tell you is for a game like Quake, did the guy just die without me shooting him? And he's gone? This is insanity. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is in fact what an AI game is all about. So again, artificial intelligence is not something that's going, oh my God, I think we're actually shifting to different dimensions. Now, again, we'll talk about this after sort of I've done playing this a little bit, but this is actually Quake running without the actual game engine at all. And it's, oh my God, there's an enemy. Oh, the enemy's right there. The enemy isn't even shooting at me. He's just, wait, hold on. Can I shoot him? Attack? Oh my God. Wait, hold on. Am I killing this AI generator? It's not registering my shots, dude. It's not registering anything. It's fucking insane. Oh wait, the game limit has been reached. So you get to play for maybe 2-3 minutes max. We'll start it up again once and just basically play it one more time. So yes, for anybody that doesn't know, this is the Quake 2, original Quake 2, running entirely in an AI instance. So there's no code from the actual game running. It's just Quake 2. And everything you're seeing over here is basically this AI trained on, I would say, literal hours of Quake 2 footage. And it's just generating the actual system on the fly. Now, one thing interesting is this actually has a lot of that map logic in place, it seems. A lot of the map logic does tend to make some sense. For instance, I just went up this entire pillar area, and basically when we looked at previous projects, this whole situation would just completely smear and switch nothing. Remember when we looked at Counter-Strike? And I looked left, right, and as soon as there was some difference in pixels, the artificial intelligence would be failing to estimate where we're at. So after a month of Microsoft showing this, we're at a point where the artificial intelligence actually is able to at least keep some semblance of where I'm at in a fucking video game map. Now, what it's not able to keep a semblance of is my health. I mean, the HUD, I feel like it's just not able to keep up anything over there. The enemies, as you all saw the last instance we were playing, they were not accepting shots at all very well. And I think I just absolutely crashed the AI by going into the darkness over here. It really doesn't know how to function. I don't think, wait, no, it does. It does know how to function. Yeah, we're actually playing AI-generated Quake right now. And I can tell you from just a developmental perspective here, the amount of resources we're using... Wait, I don't even know if I can go into the water anymore. I've just Wait, where am I? Holy shit, the AI cannot work in pure darkness. We gotta leave this hell. But yeah, as you can see, the artificial intelligence is functioning. This is Microsoft... Oh, it's done. This is Microsoft Copilot's gaming experience. So I wanted to kind of show that off because honestly, I really don't see the value in a lot of it. And I've seen the comments to some of my videos for sure. Like a month ago when I looked at it, one comment that really stood out to me was a user saying, Mude, you're like a channel that doesn't understand how AI can be used for great things. Now, look, I think AI is a cool tool. I'm not one of those crazy, like, nut jobs where I'm like, artificial intelligence can go rot in a hole. I use it for brainstorming. I use it for a lot of productivity reasons. There's a lot of things AI can do, especially repetitive tasks in the medical field, in a lot of fields where artificial intelligence can be used to assist human beings in researching cures, researching actual things faster. Well, when it comes to a lot of this generative stuff, what I find really baffling is when companies like Microsoft spend like millions, billions of dollars creating software that literally exists to replicate something that you could run on your grandmother's vibrator, okay? Quake is not a fucking... Quake 2 is not an extensive game, okay? Let me tell you something right now. Quake 2 is a game that could run on pretty much anything, all right? I'm just straight up saying it for the record. The amount of actual processing power I just burned 2 times recording that entire gameplay for you could have easily been replicated under an RTX 4090 that I have right here. And I could actually play Quake 2 with motherfucking path tracing, okay? Like, we're at a point where a lot of these companies are creating AI-generated slop experiences of stuff that we've already had. Now, I probably wouldn't be such a prude to this if, on the other hand, I was playing like a brand new gaming experience. Like, I could type in a prompt and Copilot could generate a game for me. But Copilot is not doing that. What it's doing over here is just AI generating Quake 2. And a lot of the thing with this is like, the way that these technologies work is they've most definitely gone to YouTube or through tons of game recordings that they've already siphoned from like Xbox or just literal playthroughs of Quake 2 that have existed, or even recording it themselves. All they did was take an actual game released decades ago, record high quality footage, throw that shit into an artificial intelligence and tell it to basically guesstimate. So some of the stuff that we saw here was kind of similar to, again, that Counter-Strike example that I talked about earlier, where it was an AI-generated game, and because there was no code or underlying like programs or anything, it literally would just hallucinate what you're giving it. I mean, it feels like you're playing every game as if it was LSD Dream Emulator, like a pure hallucination. One thing that's really cool about this stuff is it actually, in my opinion, replicates Dream super duper well. Like, if you ever wanted the experience of what it was like to fucking dream something, you just play an AI-generated video game, and that's pretty much all it comes down to. I mean, it wasn't even long ago when we had, like, AI Doom, like, game engine, where, again, tons of hours were fed into an AI to teach it how Doom looked like, and all the AI could do was basically just spit out what it thought the next frame should be. And I feel like that's how a lot of the maps in this works. Like, if you have so much footage of one location, like for instance, EMM1 in Doom, you could probably just have an AI that could be able to generate map logic far better than anything else. And again, this is like, I guess what some companies want to be considering the future, right? Look, at the end of the day, if you can get artificial intelligence to develop assets and like voice work and all that crazy shit in video games, I think a lot of these companies really do want to replace that human element with as many ways that they can cheap out on. And whatever we saw with this Microsoft crap is literally designed to just replicate, I guess, older games. And again, I don't really know the full proper purpose to this, other than the fact that when these games are AI generated like this, none of them are actually outputting anything new in the process. In fact, it doesn't really seem like anything new can be done from a game development perspective, because in order for these AIs to work, you would actually have to feed it a real game in order for it to actually be able to spit back to you as a, playable prompt as we saw over here. It's actually surprisingly not dissimilar to the Oasis AI that we looked at a while back, where again, you could pick out of any of these environments. So for instance, if I wanted to play in the mountain meadow, I would just hit start here. It would connect to this artificial intelligence. And I could basically be playing like a version of Minecraft through artificial intelligence. So I connect to somebody's servers, I can move this mouse around, and boom, I'm playing AI-generated Descartes Minecraft. Now, again, this is fed after like hundreds of hours of actual Minecraft footage, and again, that's how it understands itself. But the thing is, none of this is actual game code and whatnot. And I've seen people tout this as like a game preservation mechanism, when in reality, it's just burning constant CPU, GPU cycles, when you could easily just run this iteration of Minecraft on most hardware. Again, it's just nothing that crazy, in my opinion, because, again, artificial intelligence is going to have to require a lot of, I guess you could say, tweaking. Maybe you could say this is in the infancy state, but is this really how you want to be playing any, video game in general, right? Do you want to play this weird hallucination version of it or not? Again, I feel like with a lot of the AI technologies we see, companies are just pushing it. And again, importantly enough, if you looked at this was a real-time recording. It's nothing but a few more minutes, so you can imagine how much it's costing these people to run this. How sustainable is this in the future? Who knows? But at least I can tell you is with the latency, with the amount of time required for processing these low-resolution images, I don't personally see this becoming a way to play video games, or it should ever really be something that is in any way you should require to play video. This is just weird. it's literally made by people who I think are not actual gamers at all. What's interesting about it too is Microsoft says that Muse, the technology we were just looking at for Quake, you could imagine a world where from gameplay data and video that a model could learn old games and really make them portable to any platform. So it's kind of a weird thing. They make it sound like it's a way for them to port really old games to modern hardware. But in reality, what we saw over here was just the same thing as that Counter-Strike example, except that was actually running locally on my system. Although that was putting a 4090 to its knees, I can only imagine what this is doing to their servers. So again, we have reached a point where in technological land, we are burning multiple GPUs to play Quake on something that could easily be running on pretty much anything, okay? We've been able to run Quake on old phones like a decade ago, 15 years ago, just fine. And now we're sitting at a point where the most high-class GPUs in the world and all the AI required is used to generate just a little few minutes of Quake just to get people to jump on and play it. So yeah, I wanted to kind of share it to you because I really do feel like from a practical perspective, gaming, at least when it comes to AAA companies, the amount of money and resources spent in places like this just spells doom and gloom and cooking for the industry. With the amount of layoffs that are happening, with the amount of shit that's happening in AAA spaces, instead of providing us just good, solid experiences that we can buy every now and again for proper prices, we're at a point where companies are like, how do we remove as many humans as we can from this industry? And also, how do we get all this AI to generate constant gameplay, constant assets, and constant things for us? It's like they want to take development teams down to effectively zero just to generate slop and slop and slop for us. And look, the thing about AI and video games is like movies and like music, video games are in fact a form of art. If there's one thing that you can't AI slop out, in my opinion, it's the human element of actual artistic mediums. There's a lot of games that are great that were released 20 years ago that are great for a reason, because of the human touch involved into them. It's just like there's a lot of great movies, and there's a lot of great pieces of music. This is a bastardization. And the more I wish people could understand that none of this is truly innovative, it's more just, let's take hours, tens, thousands of hours of footage we already have and convince an AI model to just recreate the next frame. This is not the future. This is just big tech companies trying to oversell artificial intelligence instead of really selling us on its actual merits, which there are plenty of. But gaming, in my opinion, it's just not worth it. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Just like if you dislike it, I am out.